March 8, 2013 to April 7th, 2013 is when the funding began for a new game called Shroud of the Avatar. So the game funded by April 7, 2013, and development started with $1.9 million available to do the development. And the result is a highly instanced game. Everything is instances. So you spend a lot of time in one of these. That's right, loading screens. Every city, town, every dungeon, every place you go in this game is an instance. You stare at one of these when you go into the instance, and you stare at one of these when you go out. When you go into a store, or go into a city to shop, you stare at one of these. When you go into the basement of your house, you stare at one of these. When you go into a dungeon, you stare at one of these. And you get to do it again when you exit those places. Everything is an instance. So while we're waiting for the loading screen to go away, I will say that the game has amazing graphics. And this in part due to the fact that they don't just add textures on top of flat surfaces, they actually model every surface. So these floorboards that you see here, some of them have uneven corners. They've actually modeled the uneven corners. If a wall looks like it has uneven bricks, they've actually modeled uneven bricks instead of it just being a texture. Since players can have any house that they can afford and decorate it with whatever they like, it can make for some pretty interesting polygon counts. And while graphics and house decoration are very well developed, some more basic components such as inventory management and world transportation leave much to be desired. Most critical game objects such as armor, weapons, pets, and quest items or tools must be maintained in the top level of your inventory. So as you can see by my inventory, it creates a real mess with no foreseeable way to clean it up. Again, transportation also has its challenges. The only real way to get around are either to walk, to recall to your home, or to teleport to a friend. So what inevitably has happened is players have friended everybody they encounter so that in the event that they wish to travel somewhere, hopefully somebody will be logged in and hanging out at the location that they want to teleport to so that they don't have to walk. And of course, as one would expect in an instanced game, once teleport is initiated, you get to view another loading screen. So let me cut these loading screens out so that you don't have to suffer through them too. So there we go. But guess what? We have just teleported to a place not where we want to be, but near where we want to be. So guess what we have to do now? We have to exit to another loading screen. Exiting from an instance into what is called Overworld or Novia is really just like exiting to a menu of things to pick from. It all looks like nice cities and looks like things are happening, but it's just a way to get from one instance to another. So here you can see me using Overland to travel on foot to another instance. And that's all this is. Every one of those little labels is another instance. They also have bandits and skeletons that will attack you, but these are not things that come up and hit you. They actually pull you into yet another instance. So you spend a lot of your time staring at loading screens when you teleport someplace, staring at loading screens when you leave that place you teleported to get to the place you wanted to go, staring at loading screens when you finally go into the place that you wanted to go, like we're going to do now. It's all loading screens. The game is written on the Unity engine, which has been successfully used to create numerous multiplayer games. Star Trek Bridge Crew, for example. Elite Dangerous are some VR titles I'm aware of. Unfortunately, this particular game, Shroud of the Avatar, is loaded with all kinds of bugs and problems that players have taken advantage of in order to advance in the game. GM Atos that I spoke with identified that she had already banned several people the week of this recording, just for stat hacks and for killing animals while standing on top of something. Any hill, rock, or other obstacle in the game can be used to cause the animals to bug out. So, if you're in the fight with an animal, as I am here, and there is a rock nearby, you can jump up on that rock and the animal will simply freeze. Or it could be a mob, doesn't matter. It will just freeze and you can kill it. So let's take a look at how that's done. Here I am up on top of a rock, and these are obsidian bears. They're not the worst in the game. I can actually take 3 or 4 of them at once, but for lower players, they're a challenge. So, and they yield good XP. So a lower player might do this. They switch to a bow and arrow, stand up here, or I guess I'm going to try to do this with fire as a caster, as a mage. And there you go. He's on fire, and he will continue to just stand there and do nothing until he dies. This is common everywhere. Users are doing it all over the place. The other big problem they have in this game is users that are AFK crafting. This game has a heavy crafting component. I mean, your primary function in this game is to buy things to decorate your home. That is it. And other people will go around crafting those things that you want to buy to decorate your home, or crafting armor for you to wear so you can go get the money to buy things to craft to decorate your home. And a lot of folks have been setting up their accounts with macroing tools so that they can craft vast amounts of things to generate XP, so that they don't have to sit there manually doing it. It is so common that they had an interview with the gentleman named Chris, who works for the game manufacturer Portalarium, and they interviewed him, and it was an open part of the discussion, how everybody macros crafting. And you got people who are playing on one account while their second account is crafting poisons or potions for them or something like that, and other people are running macros all day. Nothing is done about it. There are posts on the internet. If you actually search for Shroud of the Avatar and cheats, you're going to find a litany of posts on other forums outside of Shroud of the Avatar Portalarium, stating that yeah, the cheating is out of control, and they're asking the users to snitch on each other in order to get some kind of control of the cheating. So that's a real problem. But here's where the problem really comes into it. So Shroud of the Avatar doesn't have a subscription fee per se. They do have a subscription that you can sign up for, but it's not an official game subscription. It's sort of, oh, if you pay us $9 a month, we'll give you some goodies every month. Things like, and they'll give you a title and really things that don't mean a whole lot. One of the big ways they survive or seem to survive is things like this. They have what they call stretch goals, in which they set a goal of how much money they want to raise through users buying products for the game on their site. And this gives you an example of some of the goals they have had that they have achieved. And if they achieve that goal, then everybody who was involved in buying something that time gets the item. So you get the slash roll dice emote if they earn 10K on their money or fundraising event. If they earn 25K on their fundraising event, you get a flame trap decoration. And so on. You get the idea. They have these things weekly, and they have a YouTube, or not a YouTube, a video feed about it and everything. Now, where do you buy these things? Well, let's go see. So if we go look at the store, okay, so each one of these things is a category of products you can buy for the game. As a matter of fact, some of them you don't have much choice. So for example, deeds. If you want to have a home to put your stuff, you have to buy a deed. The simplest deed is something like this. It's 85 real dollars US. And you have to put a house on it because it doesn't come with a house. And this house is going to have a very limited quantity of things that you can put in it. It's a very limited number of containers or boxes, very limited number of lights, very limited number of decorations, and so on. And the bigger you go, the less limitation is. Until you're up to something like this where you've paid $1,000, but you don't have that many limits. Now here's the thing. In this small case, you're paying your $85 for your property, which you can only put in a player-owned town. The Place Anywhere deeds are much more expensive. Once you've placed your deed, you have to put a house on it. You still don't have a house, but you now have a bill. And that bill is 250 gold every day. If you don't pay your 250 gold every day, your house is sent to the bank. Yay! And when I say sent to the bank, they don't pack it up nice. They just dump everything, boom, into your bank account. Let's talk bank account. Okay, so let's go to packages. So we've only just started to look at that. All right, so the package I ended up having to buy was the Viking one. And if I look at the Viking one, you'll see it comes with 90 bank slots. So for $149, these are the things I got. 25 coins, which will buy you really nothing significant. You use them onesie twosie here and there for some stuff. Potions, a helmet, a back. I didn't get armor. I got a pet and 2 tools. And you need, there's like 10 of them for $149. The upgrades get pricey. So I did upgrade to this one. And you can see what the upgrade price is. But they get worse. And they get worse. And this is how the game is played for everybody. And then there's the add-ons. So let's take a look at patterns. Now this you'll like. So patterns, you can buy a pattern. You can take a picture, an image that you like, send it in, they'll approve it, and then you can put that image on things. Patterns. And if you don't like it, well then you can buy pattern remover packs. $9 to remove 6 patterns and $17 to remove 12 patterns. So you have to pay to remove patterns. So this is basically a really severe form of pay to play. You have to pay to do everything. What other things we got here? Emotes. If you want to dance, if you want to juggle, you have to pay for that. And there are people who are paying through the nose for that stuff. Right? Basements. The houses. The houses are fairly cheap, but the deeds that the houses have to sit on are really expensive. The other thing, too, to keep in mind, if I go back to the deeds, notice it says player owned. Player owned town, player owned town, player owned town. And what that really is referring to is not all towns, actually most towns in the game, are owned by a player. And if that player disagrees with your politics, they kick you out. They will evict you from their town. Your house will get dumped into your inventory, and you won't have a house until you find another place to put it. So that's kind of how this game goes. So you can have people who are racist and don't like your views, who, for whatever reason, political, decide to have it in for you. There are totally individuals in the game who use philanthropy to attract new players and then start imposing things on them now that they've quote unquote helped them. So these are common things within the game that one wants to keep in mind. The other thing is then the Portalarium themselves use this stuff to control the players. So I myself have been threatened with being banned just for recording this review. I've been told that if I say anything negative about Portalarium or the game, that I'll be banned and I will lose my investment. The other thing you will hear in the game is players. The player community has been in decline, especially with all the bannings that have been going on. People are getting banned just for saying the wrong thing on a forum. And because of that decline, other players are trying to sell off their stuff to try to get out of the game and not lose so much money. So the player community itself is either fighting against negative feedback because it hurts their community, or fighting against negative feedback because it hurts their ability to sell their stuff to some newbie who doesn't know any better. So these are things to watch out for. So did I mention that there were bugs? Here's you're looking at a screen of exceptions. In other words, portions of the code failing as I entered a mine in the game. I have the ability, using dnSpy, a tool you can download, to actually track the game communicating with the server and trying to play. And these kinds of exceptions are all over the place. Here's another one of my character walking around a player town. Exceptions everywhere. And you can see the exceptions are from third-party tools that this company has been using. Players often report that they are going to restart their entire machines to deal with lag issues. Now, I can't say that that is effective or the proper solution, but I know myself that I will often, when the game really starts to get really laggy, and I'm running on a 100 plus megabit bandwidth, when it gets really laggy, I have to restart my machine to smooth things out. Since the game is written predominantly in C#, hacking is a real problem. This is dnSpy, a tool you can use to decompile C#. And as you can see, I'm looking at the crafting table numbers, and these are used to determine how crafting works in the game. Now, the game manufacturers claim that they have all of this cheating under control with their detection methods. And I can confirm all of their anti-cheat code is sitting there ready for your review right above fluffy underwear. Now, part of the problems that they may be dealing with in the game might be related to all the third-party partners that they have utilized in the game. Here's a list of some of those third-party tools that are in the game for various tasks. Finally, the other area that I have to touch on is the questing area. Now, usually I would turn to questing for my source of XP. And you're given quests right from the new player starting area. The big problem with that is twofold. Number one, the quests don't seem to have any idea of scale. I mean, whether you're a low B or a high character, they don't know, they don't care. My level 19 character was taken to places or was sent to places that my level 50 character couldn't handle. So there is that. The other problem is that the quests are very complicated. There is absolutely no community help on how to complete the quests, what you might be missing, what you might not be missing. And unfortunately, the quest system is replete with ever-changing bugs. So one day, for example, a portion of the Shroud quest is not working. The next day, they have issued a fix for that portion of the Shroud quest, but another portion of the Shroud quest, which is the major quest, it's the one that is responsible for the Shroud I'm wearing, suddenly that one is broken. And as a new player to the game, you will never know whether the quest is broken or whether you just don't know the right person to talk to or the right thing to say, because that's the other thing. In order to progress the quest along, you converse with NPCs, and you actually have to type the word to say. You have to know what to ask them. And sometimes that, they have little menus of words you can use, but sometimes the word you have to ask isn't there. You have to just sort of figure out what word it is from the storyline. So if the quests are bugged, you have no way of sorting out whether or not you're wrong, the quest is wrong, the game is messed up. You have no way to know. So the quest system is, for the most part, unusable. So there you go. That's my review of the game. It is gorgeous graphically. Some aspects of the game, like building your character, can be a lot of fun. Some aspects, like crafting, can be a lot of fun. But you're going to pay through the nose in cold hard cash for everything that you want to do in the game. And because they are so concerned about a poor user base and so concerned about the visuals and how they appear to the public, they are going to pressure you to say all the right things, to do all the right things. They're going to ban you if you say the wrong thing on the forums. They're going to ban you if you say the wrong things on YouTube, like I'm doing. They're going to ban you for just about anything. So there you go, Shroud of the Avatar.